the video recording, and I think it has begun. We're not on the radio yet, and I've not told my guest where the camera locations are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. They automatically switch to whoever is talking on the air, and that's assuming that I aimed them properly on the preview screen here. Leslie is hearing me in her cue speaker right now. I will be quiet for a moment and give her the radio command that she is waiting for. Hot mic. And away we go on December the 2nd. Here's what people are talking about. Weather, roads, schools. There's a lot to cover there. There's also the Indiana map that might never see the light of day. 8:30 this morning is when we'll cover what we know. And the Pacers lost last night on WMUN, one of our sports affiliations in the WMUN and Woof Boom Radio group. All right, let's get on to the weather first. We always do that because, well, first of all, it impacts everybody. Second of all, we have a meteorologist for that. His name is Paul Poteet. Looking at all the video screens to make sure everything is aimed properly. I have no idea if I've even close. It's all new. Okay, Leslie, hot mic. All right, Paul, thank you very much. And the jingle bells that we hear slightly and lightly in our headphones are indicative of our first guest this morning. It's not exactly the same bell that they ring at those red kettles, but we get the drift. And I'd like to say hello and good morning to the newest leadership of the Salvation Army of Muncie. Would you please introduce yourself to our listeners this morning?
Good morning. My name is Major Charles Pinkston.
And the Salvation Army of Muncie is what you're in charge of. You and another.
Yes, I and my wife, Kathleen, Major Kathleen Pinkston, we are in charge of both Muncie, Indiana, and Richmond, Indiana.
All right, the newest leadership of the Salvation Army. That co-location situation is a little different. We'll get to that in just a little bit, the changes that have occurred there. Our hometown hero of the month is the Salvation Army of Muncie, and they're our first guest list this morning on a snowy, cold morning, the kind of morning that I assume makes you think about your bell ringers and also your benefactors of the services that you provide. What are some of those services that you try to provide for folks that need a hand, in this case, in Muncie and Delaware County, Major?
Well, the biggest issue that we try to help with is food insecurities. Our food bank is our main source of help to the community, and we're just trying to always make that bigger and better. We have a lot of work to do. That's one of the things we want to work on this coming years is really making it more effective, more healthy options, etc.
You and your wife haven't been on the ground here all that long.
No, we only moved here September 1st, so we had to hit the ground running.
I assumed that the preps for the Red Kettle campaign and the Christmas season was probably something you had to really dial in on quickly. There's also another part of the Salvation Army, and I speak in that way because I am proud to have served as a board member of the Salvation Army of Muncie in the past, and I have kind of some behind-the-scenes knowledge of what has been done over there. This coming Saturday and next coming Saturday are called Heroes and Helpers. It's a toy giveaway, a Christmas shopping giveaway, actually, for kids and families. And the Salvation Army is instrumental in helping to find those kids and families. Were you here when that part was going on? I can't remember the timing of that.
It was, yeah, that was late October, early November, that we had all of the clients come in and apply for those. So, yeah.
Bruce Qualls is the coordinator with Muncie Crime Stoppers, and he has fed us with some more information about this coming Saturday's event and next Saturday's event. You'll hear that in our news in the days to come. This is WMUN's Delaware County Today. Steve Lindell with our guest, Major Pinkston. He and his wife lead the Muncie and the Richmond Salvation Army. They're our hometown hero of the month for December 2025. The path here, I think people are always curious when we get to come in contact with a new leader at the Salvation Army. Tell us about you and your wife's way ending up in Muncie, Indiana.
Well, I myself am originally from Wichita, Kansas. My wife is originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan. We met in seminary in Chicago back in 1998. And just after we were ordained and commissioned in the year 2000, we got married. And since then, we've been in 7 different appointments across Kansas, Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan.
Wow. Y'all don't stay put for very long, but that's part of the mission, is it not? To get out and move around and serve even more people?
It is. The idea of not leaving an officer in one place for a long period of time is they don't want us to get comfortable. They want us to continue to have fresh ideas and be innovative and be effective and not just kind of settle into a status quo.
1865, London, England is when the Salvation Army began. Methodist minister William Booth and his wife Catherine started preaching to the poor on the city's west end. Do I have that right historically?
That is correct.
The internet is a fantastic place to find factual things, too. The United States started seeing these missions in 1880, way back when. And from its inception, the Army has engaged in social work, providing food and shelter. How does it make you and your wife feel when you see a success story or more? A smile, a thank you, a helping hand that is received in all the right ways?
You know, it's a wonderful feeling to just be able to help. I think of all the other behind-the-scenes stuff that we have to do, the hard work, the long hours, et cetera. But just seeing somebody who really, truly appreciates the help we're able to give really makes everything worth it.
Major Pinkston is our guest this morning on Delaware County Today. I'm Steve Lindell. This is WMUN. And our hometown hero of the month for December is the Salvation Army. Let's talk about the Red Kettle campaign. So many people are familiar with those red kettles and that familiar bell that rings as we're walking into stores and locations, and has happened for years and years and years. What I'd like to ask you first is, how important and critical is that fundraising campaign to the entire year of the Salvation Army's mission?
It's extremely important because it sets the basis for what this next year is going to look like, what we're able to do. It is the largest fundraiser of the year, sometimes one of the only fundraisers of the year, and it's very important.
It's super critical, folks, and your change that you have in the dash of your car, or maybe some fold-in money, if you want to reach into your wallet or purse, it's all very much welcome. There's new ways to give, too, isn't there? Lots of times I see a QR code, those fancy things you can snap. How are some of the ways that people can interact with those bell ringers, the newfangled ones, too? Because I know you've certainly stayed with the times.
Yeah, we've gotten better at that over the last few years. The QR codes are one of the ways that it's very easy to just, use your camera phone and go directly to the website to make a donation. The other way is just to go straight on your computer to samuncie.org and it has a link there to make a donation, one time or reoccurring, whatever you prefer. There are not currently QR codes at the kettle sites. Again, the tight schedule, trying to get everything set up for this year. But there is another way that I don't know if it's been tried here. It's called Tap to Give, and there's 3 denominational near frequency communication devices that you can just take your credit card, just hold it up there real quick, just like if you were in a supermarket, paying for your groceries.
Yeah.
So that's something we're looking into as a possibility for future also.
People like convenience and quick and fast, and they like to help. You've only been here for a few months, but if you haven't seen it already, I'm sure that you will, Major. Muncie, Delaware County, Indiana is a very generous and giving bunch of communities. Muncie has so many not-for-profits, 501c3s, groups, clubs, organizations that come together, not just at Christmas time, but year-round to put together and put on various events and fundraisers to help people out. The bell ringers are obviously a critical component. I have encountered myself, especially when it's a cold winter day and the bell ringing is happening, usually on not always, but on an outside of an entryway to a retail location. It's just something that touches your heart, isn't it? And you need people to help and ring those bells, don't you?
We do. If this were a perfect world, we would have 100% volunteers out there ringing the bells. And every time we have a volunteer out there, that actually helps our fundraising efforts and allows us to give back to the community even more because we don't have to pay somebody to stand out there.
Sure.
We're finding that we have some wonderful volunteers in Muncie, but we're really looking for a lot more.
Okay.
We would love, again, ideally to be 100% volunteer, and it might take some time, but I think we could get there.
Now, as we're speaking, it's only December 2nd, folks, so between now and the end of the Red Kettle campaign, those listening right now that feel inspired and compelled to help, you literally could just give up a couple of hours or more of your volunteer time, and you can pick where you want to be and when you want to be there. Tell them how that apparatus works. It's really pretty neat.
It's pretty simple. It's registertoring.com. That's registertoring.com. You can go on and sign up as an individual, as a group. You can then go on by using your zip code to find out where you're located, to find out what sites are available, what time slots are available. You can sign up for as few or as many as you'd like to do. The only thing is, if you sign up for them, we ask that you please keep them. Mm-hmm. We often don't know if somebody doesn't call us to tell us they're canceling, but if we can get that information, we can get somebody else rescheduled to be out there.
Sure. Give that web address one more time. It's super important.
Yes, registertoring.com.
All right. Anything we haven't touched on, Major Pinkston, that you wish to share with the community today?
I just appreciate the love and support that we have seen just since we moved here. We're really looking forward to getting out in the community this next year, meeting a lot more people, and really, like I said, seeing how we can benefit Muncie and Delaware County.
Well, you have a friend in us at Wolf Boom Radio and WMUN. You're still getting to know people and places and everything, but please know that we are big supporters, not just because you're the hometown hero of the month for December, but whenever you need an assist, you have our contact information, mine and others, and please know that you and your wife's work is known to be very important to a lot of people, and anything that we can do to continue to assist and help, you have us on your side.
We appreciate it.
Very much. Thank you. As we continue, this is Delaware County Today. Steve Lindell live from our video multi-purpose studio this morning. With more to come, stand by on WMUN. right, now for Leslie, again, a quick explanation for our video watchers here. We are not live streaming, but people might watch the replay when we upload this later to our YouTube page and otherwise. Leslie is in the main building, not far from where I'm sitting right now in our video studio. And this is called closed circuit communication. Leslie, we're going to go to the floater list out of this break. Floater list. And a couple or a few off the list for this segment. We'll take our break close to 8:27 for break number 2. And then we'll come back from that break into what's listed on the run sheet, and we'll keep going from there. Okay, very good. I better make note of my mom listening in Minnesota. And if I forget, Leslie will oftentimes remind me, thankfully, producer that she is, and I appreciate it very much. Muncie schools just closed. I don't know if you knew that or not. I got a call during your show. Is that, the call from the school district probably. And I do see your note, the State House note, that's for bottom of hour within the local news summary and so on segment of the program. So we're going to go floater list next segment. Floater list first. Got it. And Leslie, hot mic. And the MCS closed for the day. Jared Boomer in our WLBC Master Command Suite in the main building, right next to where I'm sitting on this December the 2nd, 2025. I'm Steve Lindell. MCS is one of a whole lot of school districts that started with a delay and ended up changing their plan for today. Some of those plans end up with virtual learning. Some are just a day off. And some are synchronous learning. Chris Walker, principal, Muncie Central High School, who's way smarter than me, explained synchronous learning is when the kids stay home and the teachers teach the lessons on time as if they were in the room. They're expected to be on camera and online at a certain time for each of their class and learning sessions. And synchronous learning days do not count towards virtual learning days. I think the state of Indiana rule is you're allowed to have 3 of those per school year, virtual days. And then when you just call off school or anything that exceeds 3 virtual days, you have to make up those days. I know that Blackford schools in Hartford City area, they've already announced yesterday, I think, on their social media, their plan to make up at least 1 or 2 of their days they have to make good. So moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas will want to keep track of all the moving parts to make certain you know when your kids are supposed to be going to school and not. And that's something that gets a little confusing sometimes. All right, let's get a snapshot of your day for today. Okay, Leslie, I'll go hot mic. On WMUN, News Talk, Sports Talk, Community Talk. We're the talk radio of Muncie. Lots of music stations in our midst, too. Wolf Boom Radio is the home of WLBC and Blake FM, Work and Max, and Oldies 101. And we are proud to use our voice to build and connect our community. As we are speaking at 8:25 a.m. Eastern Time on December the 2nd, the winter weather advisory has now been allowed to expire. It was in effect until 7 a.m. this morning officially. I would say anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow seems to be most common from what we're hearing for the rest of the day today, other than a couple of flurries, I suppose, that are possible. It'll be cloudy more than anything. The high 27 degrees. I don't see a lot of wind in the forecast. That would be good news for today. However, Paul Poteet has explained this to me before. A little bit of wind and the snow, that's really wet snow too, could cause another situation for us tomorrow morning at this time and maybe into the night. Fog might be a problem for a big part of east central Indiana. It will be cold in the morning, 17, a better high of 33 by Wednesday afternoon. We're at 8:27 on this Tuesday, December the 2nd. Let's look at some word play on this one now, on a very serious subject, breathing. For our video viewers, we're working on air audio, that is to say what's in my headphone right now being audible to you on the video stream and replay too. Sean Mattingly is fantastic. We are very blessed to have him in our midst, and he is working on tweaks and updates and all sorts of different possibilities in this new video studio that we're in. We've only been in here operating for a couple or a few weeks now after a very, very large amount of work and investment. Jay Chapman and Wolf Boom Radio doing that for us. This room will have a lot of possibilities in the time to come. I'm going to go hot mic. And we have Portland, Oregon on my screen. I can see my sister Sherry listening. Minnesota, Mama, and probably Roger listening too. Earlier we had Northern California and Southern California. They have since left the stream. They probably have something better to do. Chicago, Illinois, Addison more specifically. You're always listening. We appreciate you. Is it the Ohio State University that is listening or near there right now? Plus lots of other Indiana listeners that have chosen to go with the stream. You can listen there or on the 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, however you consume us. Just please listen and tell a friend. We're working hard for you to use our voice to build and connect our community. We'll get to the local news summary in our next segment, and we will lead off with what happened at the State House in Indiana yesterday, and there's a lot to tell. We'll share next on WMUN. All right, we're clear here. I noticed something yesterday. One of our other programs on the Talk of Muncie is Tony Katz Today. He runs from noon to 3 weekdays, and he broadcasts to YouTube live also. Talks about it during his show. So I thought yesterday, let me see how he does it. He will take a commercial break for the local station and affiliates like WMUN, noon to 3, today and every weekday. And then during the commercial break, he keeps talking to the video feed as if the show never stops. That leads me to believe, by the way, and again, I don't mean to be redundant, but what we're doing here in this really, really incredible video studio that we've constructed to use our voice in an even more useful and helpful way is maybe you're not supposed to hear the air feed on the YouTube stream. So we're going to be looking into that possibility and those possibilities and tweaking and updating and upgrading along the way. If that is the case, I may need to be like Tony Katz Today and keep yakking to the cameras while the commercial breaks are playing back in the Axia Command Center. Again, if you're just curious, this building that we're in right now is on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio on the south side of Muncie. As you're driving by on the main road, it's in the far back of the property. Right across the parking lot is the main building, and that's where they have the Axia Command Center, and my producer Leslie Griffin working right now, and all of our other studios and offices and business and sales operations happen in that main building there that you can see as you drive by on the main road on the south side of Muncie. All right, getting closer to the end of the break here. We're going to come back, Leslie, with the audio that I left for you about the State House, and then I will intro the local news summary in that order. And I need to get some information that I've prepared over here so I know what I'm talking about, which is kind of critical. Our WMUN word of the day is kerfuffle. Kerfuffle, K-E-R-F-U-F-F-L-E, kerfuffle. Use that in a sentence today. I may or may not use that in a sentence on the air before the end of the program. Got a lot of content to get in today. Leslie, hot mic. Thank you, Tom Campbell, the voice of WMUN, who will introduce high school boys basketball later this week. We'll tell you more about that when we get closer to the end of the week. Before the end of the hour, we're going to talk more about data centers, and apparently Indiana is a hot spot for those. And if you're interested in the big game at the end of the football season, the music part has been locked down. We'll have that summary. But the big story here in Muncie and in Indiana happened at the State House yesterday. The angles to this, earlier in the afternoon, a proposed map was released. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith and others distributed that on social media and otherwise. The issue at hand is whether or not Indiana will redistrict, and the special session that is, well, the regular session that is officially underway now. The special session didn't play out the way that some had intended it to. But yesterday there were, as you might not be surprised, some people at the State House with anger and criticism, two things that were seen and heard Monday. John Herrick has the report. Hot mic. And on WMUN, we have been, since very early this morning, looking at all the data and information that is out there. The proposed map as compared to the existing congressional map is considerably different. Now, we're going to get to that in just a moment, and some different angles about who might be supportive of it or not. There is some varying data on that from various sources. We'll continue our coverage of this topic in a moment after we hear the rest of our local news summary. These stories and more airing on all of our stations in East Central Indiana, and now for you on WMUN. Okay. Coming out of the local news summary, Leslie, this is closed circuit for my producer. I will be talking live with some more coverage of the story at hand, and I am pulling that up even more here. right, Leslie, closed circuit for you. I'll give you the standard words in just a moment. I know the out cue of this audio, so I'll listen for that, and I will give you that word command then. I know we're getting close, and I have more angles to cover from various sources that I'll do live. Then we'll take break 3, and we'll round out the hour after that, timing-wise. Standing by. Sorry about that. Probably should have turned my mic off for the cough. I'll go hot mic. On WMUN, our local news summary there with additional coverage now on the talk radio of Muncie, WMUN, about the redistricting situation. Here's an article from the Indiana Capital Chronicle, described as an independent nonprofit news organization dedicated to giving Hoosiers a comprehensive look inside state government, policy, and elections. This is via the Ball State Daily News that I saw this morning when we were prepping for today's program. Proposed map that is out and is public now about what might happen at the state legislature about the congressional district plan. The article here says, quote, "The proposed map splits strongly Democratic Indianapolis among 4 districts that all stretch far into rural, heavily Republican counties." Their words continue. The map, it is a proposed map, not decided on yet. They use the word obliterates the current 7th district, now held by Democrat Representative Andre Carson. The new 7th district would span from the north side of Indianapolis to counties along the Ohio River near Cincinnati. And I'm looking at the map. I could hold it up to the camera here, but it'll be difficult for you to see. You actually could do much better Googling it yourself, proposed new congressional map, and see it on your screen when you have a minute. But as far as our immediate area here, Muncie, Delaware County, we're obviously on the talk radio of Muncie, Indiana. Delaware County in particular would change dramatically. It would no longer be at all in the 5th congressional district, currently held by Victoria Sparks. Parts of Delaware County would be in a newly built 3rd congressional district, and parts would be in the newly formed 7th congressional district. So that 7th district would be Democrat Andre Carson. The 3rd district, I had the name right in front of me. I'm going to have to get, I think it's Frank Mervan. Nope, it's not Frank Mervan. We'll get back to that. I have notes elsewhere, a lot of pieces of paper. You might also be wondering who's in and who's out. As far as the state legislature is concerned, there is conjecture about that. We'll cover that angle to this important story and much more in the the minutes to come, about 15 or 17 to go in the hour. Delaware County Today, back in a moment on WMUN. Okay. All right, Leslie, closed circuit for you. I think we'll have time for most of, if not all, the remaining floater list items, but I do have some more angles I need to cover on this story about redistricting. It's confusing to me, so I'm assuming that it's confusing to others too, so I'm trying to demystify it. Again, for those that are viewing this video, you're hearing me talk in a closed circuit method to our main studio, the Axia Command Center. Leslie Griffin producing in there. I'm in our brand new video and multi-purpose room, which is on the campus of Wolf Boom Radio on the south side of Muncie. This is December 2nd, 2025. It is almost 8:45 in the morning. For those that replay this video and or audio, it was a snowy morning, a snowy night, and it will get better in the hours to come, but the roads were not good at all on our way into work this morning. The early morning risers woke up to far more unplowed than completely plowed roads. They certainly did their level best in various cities and towns and state highways and interstate highways to make sure they stayed as clear as they could, but I'm not a specialist, but I assume the snow that came over many hours, started about 5 or 6 p.m. in the Muncie area on December the 1st and lasted until the overnight hours and into the early morning hours. Some light snow still existed. So as you are watching and or listening to this, safety first, always make sure you are being careful and cautious of intersections, four-way stops. Don't assume the other guy or gal is able to stop, and protect yourself. Drive defensively. Buckle up. It's a state law. And watch out for those parking lots and sidewalks, too. Some of those are not as treated as some of the roads in other areas, so don't get a surprise slip and fall. That has happened to far too many people. My beautiful wife, Nancy, a few winters ago, was just on a very simple little dog walk on a winter day. Little light snow around, nothing major, nothing like today. And there were ice chunks underneath that snow, and that caused a problem. All right, Leslie, hot mic. As we have told you, today is Giving Tuesday, and a note here, right after midnight arrived from our friend Stacy Wheeler at Classroom Connections ECI. They're looking for funds that will help fill and receive 15,000 backpacks. She wrote, "Can you help us to meet our goal in filling all the backpacks with essential supplies for the school year with your financial support? Your generosity gives local students some hope." We've posted that press release on wolfboomnews.com, including the link if you'd like to make a donation. It's a long URL. It's easier to click than it is for me to say audibly. Stacy Wheeler is the executive director of Classroom Connections of ECI, 501c3 not-for-profit, and a friend of the radio station. Back to the subject at hand. In a moment, the redistricting updates, possibilities at the State House and in Indiana. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's get to this subject, too, which is also being talked a lot about. Indiana is one of the country's hot spots for data center proposals. Okay, Leslie, hot mic. On WMUN, an affiliate of Fox News Radio, updates right around the top of the hour, every day, because news happens all the time. This is Delaware County today. I'm Steve Lindell. We're in our video multi-purpose studio this morning broadcasting about a lot of subjects that people are talking about, including redistricting. A proposed map was released yesterday, the first day that the House of Representatives were in session. The Senate convenes next week. And I guess the thought is that this week something may or may not happen about what the House believes should or should not happen about the new proposed map that was released just yesterday afternoon. Now, who supports it and who does not? This is an Indianapolis Star article that moved at 11 a.m. on December the 1st. The Indy Star asked all House Republicans who supported and who did not. Scanning quickly, Representative Kyle Pierce, Republican of Anderson, is in support. I'm voting to redistrict is his direct quote to the newspaper there. And some of these other names, if I mention them, you probably are already aware of who's a yay and who's a nay. But some of the items here I'm not so sure about. In fact, locally in the immediate area, it says, again, the Indy Star and the Star Press reporting this, that Representative Elizabeth Rowe, Republican Yorktown, has not stated a position on that. I'm not certain that that's accurate, but honestly, I can't reach her for comment this immediate time this morning, so we're going to hunt that up and run that down. I do know that most of the list of those that the Indy Star and the Star Press is saying are undetermined as far as their public position on the notion. The longest list seems to be of they haven't said publicly. So we'll see what happens and try and run that down for you. Next item, eyes on Tennessee today. Leslie, I will move fast from item to item here to get everything in, but I will move fast. So next item is going fast. Hot mic. And the big game music is apparently locked down. I'll stay hot mic right now to keep buttons down to you, hot mic. And final item, New York City has a heart for kitties. Thank you, Janice. Good to hear your voice. That from our archives of Janice Dean. As we have heard, she is recovering from something that has been bothering her. Hopefully she will be back on the job for Fox Weather, meteorologist, and also for us again very, very soon. For Leslie Griffin, my producer in the Axia Command Center, this is Steve Lindell. Tomorrow morning at the Muncie on the Move breakfast event live on WMUN.